Hey, good morning. Good morning. Praise the Lord. Thank you for everybody tuning into my channel once again. Appreciate everybody who's been sharing, subscribing to everything on my channel. It does not go unnoticed. I do try to comment to everything you guys put on the wall. And I do read all comments and everything like that, and I always try to respond. So thank you in advance for sharing, and subscribing. And we're going to get right into it. Black people want to protest Asian businesses. Okay. The Mr. Child case sparked an uproar within the black community. And a lot of black people are saying that we should protest Asian businesses and as a result of what happened. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking. I already did a video on Mr. Child, how I felt about it, so I'm not going back into that. If y'all want to see it, it's right behind this video. I think that was the last video I made. I wanted to make a video today about fatherhood versus Pride Month, but I think this is a little bit more important because I saw the video of the Asian lady dropping the M-bomb and all that other stuff, and and she said a lot of hateful things. I don't believe it was the truth, but I do believe it was truth in it. Putting on my Gucci's. Don't have my Cardis with me today. Got my Gucci's on. Because I'm driving and I need them. And the sun is out. So, black people want to protest the Mr. Child shooting of this young man, Cyrus, who lost his life, unfortunately. Rest in power. And Cyrus had a gun on him. And he was only 14 years old. It's always tough for the black community to see a young black man killed, especially over something that was so futile, so small, so insignificant. But we gotta remember that we have to take accountability for our actions, and we have to take responsibility for the youth being the way that they are. It used to take a village. It used to be an old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Now we don't even have a 2-parent household. So that's the source of what's going on right now. Parents aren't being parents. Black men are in jail. Black women are the most violent people in our community. If you don't believe me, all you gotta do is click on Facebook. They fighting each other, they jumping each other, they always busting out windows. So as a result, you end up with young men who are lost. You know what I'm saying? In Detroit, I don't know too many 2-parent households. St. Louis, Chicago, all of these inner cities, Baltimore, the black family is damn near non-existent anymore. We still got a couple grandmas trying to keep stuff together, but the mother and the father are almost non-existent. So that's why you end up with a lot of these young black men who kind of act out in violence, join gangs and everything because they don't know themselves. But digressing, we are now stuck with the reaction to black people saying they want to boycott Asian businesses. Okay. Number one, big facts. First of all, I always like to break down numbers and statistics and what's going on. Okay. Asians are the number one earners in the United States currently, next to Indian Americans, if I'm not mistaken. Okay? So Asians and Indian Americans are the number one earners in the United States. Okay? There's no way around it. There's no way to get through it. They make the most money in our country, period. Okay? That's just the way it is. I didn't make the rules. That's just how this thing is going. Okay? All right. Black people, I think we were right under white people on that list. And it's funny because black people have some of the most prestigious degrees, but you know, we still continue to rob each other of life each and every day in our own community. But we always seem to protest when somebody else of a different culture hurts us. And I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is the same energy being felt when another culture hurts us. We need that same energy when somebody in our culture hurts us or takes a life in our own community. You know, I'm okay with the protesting of Asian people, but we need to still hold each other accountable the same way in our own communities. You know, because we are the only community that consistently celebrates destroying each other. All these my ops, all these YNs, all this other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we got to go drop a dime on them. We got to do a drive-by, you know. So we, you know, I talked to an Asian man and a Jewish man. They both said the same thing. They said, we don't respect black people because you guys consistently make music talking about destroying each other. Okay? We consistently make music that glorify destroying each other in each other's community and selling drugs in our community. We consistently do this. So that's why we don't get the respect of the Asian community or the Jewish community or the Indian community, because no other culture does this. You know, so when you talk about boycotting something, you have to be in unity. Okay? You can't boycott anything without unity and without structure. The black community has no unity and there is no structure. Therefore, we cannot boycott an organized group of people, especially Asians, which are the number one earners in the United States, over a young man having a gun. Unfortunately, he got ran down and killed, which I don't agree with. But we can't boycott something without unity. So what that means is, until we stop destroying each other, until we stop glorifying, we taking life of each other, until we wake up and say that if one of us falls, then we all fall. We need to get back to 2-parent households. And don't get me wrong, that's not the answer to everything. But I do believe that is a part of the answer. Okay? That is a part of the answer. Make no mistake about it. That is a part of the answer. Two-parent households. The black family used to always have 2-parent households in the 50s and the 60s, and we did just fine. You know, we got to get back to that. We got to get back to the 2 parents in the household, because we're losing the long game with just the mother raising the children. We're losing that battle. We're losing that battle expeditiously. We're not even on the crest of America's wealth. There's a couple billionaires here and there, some couple millionaires here and there, but there is no consistency. Okay. So we can't boycott Asian businesses because, number one, we have no unity. We have no focus. We have no unity. And we still practicing destroying each other. The second reason why we can't boycott Asian businesses is because, and this is going to ruffle some feathers. This is going to ruffle some feathers. It's going to really hurt some people, but I'm about to tell y'all, this probably should be number one. Black women spend billions on synthetic hair. I'm talking eyelashes, hair, weaves, toenails, all kind of stuff, fingernails, Remy hair, all kind of eyelashes, eyebrows, all this stuff. We get all this stuff. We making them rich. Most black women would lose their mind if they never got their nails done. Okay? They don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to go out the house without lashes. They don't know how to go out the house without some form of synthetic hair on their face. And I often ask women in my family, why would you invest in something like that? I don't understand. Why would, back in the 90s and the 80s, all women was natural. We need to get back and find out what's really going on with that, man. We need to find out what's really going on with that, because that's an epidemic. We're spending all this money. Black women are spending all this money on something they don't have to, and you giving it all to the Asian people. And I asked every black woman, I said, why y'all do y'all body like that? What's going on? And they say it enhances their beauty. No, your real beauty is from the inside. Real beauty comes from the inside, and then it comes out in your spirit. But we so caught up with, our women, and it's extremely sad. And black men had their faults too, without question. We're not perfect, so I'm not about to just beat down on black women. But black women, self-care is extremely expensive. Extremely expensive. The average black woman in the United States only makes about $50,000 a year. Look it up. $50,000 to $55,000 a year. This is the average black woman. This is not the RN. This is not the CEO. This is not the corporate woman. This is just the average black woman. Okay. So you trying to run this budget with all this synthetic hair and all this crazy type makeup. And don't get me wrong, a little bit here and there is cool. But when you start getting into, $300-$500 hairstyles, $200 lashes, then you go and you spend another $200 on your nails, on your hands, and you spend another $100 on your feet. You got me questioning some of your financial ability to be effective in your household. So when you talk about boycotting these Asian businesses, we have to come to the realization that we invest so much into something that's not even real, that we don't even need. It blows my mind. It blows my mind to see how much black women will go to a nail shop and spend. That shit is crazy to me. You know, thank God I don't have any girls. You know, I got one goddaughter. You know, but she grown. And I got 2 boys. So I could imagine trying to buy all this stuff to just be fake. And I really think the underline of all this is black women are not comfortable with who they really are. That's the honest to God truth. And it's sad to say that, but they're not comfortable with who they really are. And I'm not sure where that comes from because I'm not a woman, but I can tell you, before I got married, they have to be something that they're not. That's why these BBLs are so popular. That's why buying all this hair to try to simulate you got good hair. You don't have good hair. You know, we got curly hair. You know, but we trying to be something that we not. And it's extremely expensive. You know, so boycotting Asian businesses is going to require a lot of economic discipline. I'm going to say it again. Boycotting Asians is going to require a lot of economic and social discipline that, quite frankly, the average black community does not have. It does not have it. And I don't think we ever will have it. Yeah, I'm upset about the young man Cyrus getting killed. I got 2 black sons. But I also tell my sons that, you know, every action is going to have a reaction. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Mr. Child was wrong. Yeah, he was dead wrong. But as a 14-year-old, you shouldn't have a gun either. And you shouldn't be trying to steal. And it all goes back to the family. You know? And until we learn as a people that we have to get rid of the majority of this rap music that we listening to, because I don't let my kids listen to rap music, because most of these rappers are depressed. They singing about drugs, destroying their community, trying to ball in an economy that's failing us. And most people don't even have a good 9-to-5 job right now. They're giving a sense of depression to the youth because most rappers are depressed. And they speaking about something that they don't even have. And most rappers are in debt, like Offset, going to the casino, trying to roll dice. So we got to ask ourselves as the black community, when are we going to make some changes? And the changes are only going to come when the household changes. And then when the household changes, we could change the mentality of the way we think. And then we can move from there. But until we address these underlying issues, we can't boycott anything. Because we don't have any, we have buying power, but we don't have any ownership of our own communities. Okay? Somebody in the community need to say, hey, instead of buying a $200,000 Benz, let me open up my own mechanic shop. Let me open up my own grocery store. Let me try to start a bank. Let me try to start a real estate company. Let me try and start a landscaping company. Let me try and start an urgent care center. Somebody in our community has to be the first one to say, hey, it's going to stop with me. You know, I own my own landscaping company and boat detailing business. And I get the most pushback from my own community when they say my prices are too high. And they rather go to the Mexican who only charge $20 to cut their grass. You know, and I'm doing a quality job for you. I'm going above and beyond for you. But black people still go to Mexicans. And I get it, they're cheaper, but other cultures don't operate like that. And until we see that, we gonna always be in the back of the line economically. So no, we cannot boycott Asian businesses because we are not organized, we don't own anything, and black women spend billions on all these hair care products, and we need to fix the household. Okay? Let me know if you agree with me, you disagree with me, with anything I said. I love you with the strength of Christ. I hope you guys get something out of my videos. I try to speak as the word of God anoints me to speak. And I try to speak in power and in truth. I love you with the strength of Christ. Thank you for tuning in to my channel today, Untouchable Conservative.